This right here, my friends, is my spot of inspiration. I love how we can see 4 of the towers all at once. This server, this season, it is just all going so well, and I'm loving these projects. Speaking of which, we were going to abandon our villager project because of server performance worries, but now we're on lithium. It looks like we might be resurrecting this in the future, but let's not get distracted with other projects. We need to focus on what is behind me, the bamboo forest. I've been working on this and starting to figure out how we're going to blend this big thick mass of bamboo into the surrounding area, and that is actually to simply spread the planting of the bamboo into the spaces behind here. I believe the hitboxes of the bamboo will also stop mobs spawning on the grass. Of course, the objective is to try and remove spawning space around these places so, I don't get creepered when I'm working on my projects, which happened to me just a moment ago. But do not worry about me, I recovered just fine. And let me give you a refresher on this project if you haven't seen it yet. We are hiding our flying machines that chop down the bamboo inside of the jungle so this thing can look as organic and natural as possible. But there's actually a collection system down below to collect all of this bamboo. And I tell you, I might have some good hardware here, but even this hurts my frames when all of these items are popping into existence and falling down. And we're really going to put things to the test now because we have our second system over here, which I am actually yet to test. And that's a positive sign that it's making its way down to the other end. This is absolutely destroying my frames. And we're going to have a third machine built over here as well. I'm going to have to put in some consideration for how often these machines fly out. Anyway, moment of truth. Is it now going to make its way back? It does! Excellent. I'm so happy to see that. And the other really cool thing is, of course, down here we now have a secondary collection system. The third one will go over there where those stone bricks are and all the way across underneath this podzol. But this is just like the last system that we built. So down here we have a mass unloading system because obviously we're going to be collecting tons and tons of this bamboo. It all gets spat out into a water stream, and I've now kind of wiggled that water stream around the corner here. Now you can sort of see it in action, all the bamboo's making its way across here down to this storage system. We're generating so much bamboo here that this system is just not effective enough. And so stuff will potentially despawn here at the moment, but that's fine because this is of course all temporary. And the reason for its temporary nature is because we don't have a use for it just yet. My plan is to build a furnace array system somewhere around here that's going to take advantage of the bamboo and essentially act as a super smelter. And I think probably somewhere around here, just below me, might be the spot in which to build this. So I believe I have found the spot here. It's not too far away from the bamboo forest, and this rectangle of stone you can see behind me, well, that's outlining what I think will be the total size of this furnace array, and it is pretty large. And that means that eventually we'll be building a massive tower around it, possibly bigger than some of the other ones we've built already. However, I've got no idea what that's going to look like. We're just starting off with the furnace array. And to do that, I've crafted up all of these materials. Yep, we're going to require a lot of stuff for this project. So I've been thinking over this design a lot, and what we're going to create, we'll be able to smelt 30 items simultaneously. Now the reason it's going to be this magic number of 30 is because of the length of a redstone signal, which is 15. And so 15 times 2 equals 30. We've got 15 furnaces on either side. So the blocks I'm placing the redstone on are going to lock the hoppers over here to the side. The reason that they're going to be locked is because we're going to have hoppers flowing items across them, and we want to get our items flowing from one end all the way to the other before the redstone here is unlocked, meaning that one item can be distributed into all the furnaces down below at the same time. So at the end here, we need to detect when an item arrives in this hopper, which we do with a comparator. Now that comparator through this redstone is controlling this redstone torch. So when an item arrives here, all of this unlocks, and then all of the items that have made their way through that hopper chain go down into the furnaces. Now usually with this setup, what you do is you put it on the opposite side to the furnace to keep it out of sight. But back here, we're going to be building a battery to store all of the fuel, which is bamboo, of course, for smelting all of the items. And now you can see what we needed so many hoppers for. But we're not done just yet, as we're going to have some hoppers on top of these chests. Now, when I describe this as a battery, I use that word very deliberately because a battery stores energy, and we're storing, you know, energy for smelting. We're storing fuel, and we actually want to store a lot of this stuff here. So that's why we got the double chests, and you know what, I might even make this a little bit bigger than I originally planned. So there's going to be a distribution system for getting the items into here. We'll come back to that later because I do think I want to make this bigger so we can store tons of bamboo. And you'll see at the bottom that both furnaces on either side can draw from these item hoppers. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't make this just one continuous line of furnaces, it's because I couldn't really figure out a way to extend this redstone signal without adding in some sort of tick delay, which would then break up the items flowing through the hoppers from one side to the other. And if there was a way to do that, then you could have one big continuous array that could smelt everything that you put into it as fast as possible. So think of it like this: it takes a certain amount of time for an item to be smelted in a furnace, and in that same amount of time, items will be traveling above hoppers, and there is a number here to be crunched, but I didn't crunch it because I couldn't figure out a solution to this. So I thought, why don't we just double it up, because I'm pretty sure 30 will be more than enough for my needs. And the magic trick for being able to do this with 2 arrays of furnaces is by having a double chest located right here. If I were to put a stack of items in, they would get split between the hoppers below. We can actually just do a very simple demonstration of that. So let's chuck in a stack and you'll see that the items get drained out twice as fast because there's 2 hoppers. So we can distribute from one source to the 2 locations. What I mean is, of course, the 2 different sides of the array. So that splitter will put items into these 15 and to those 15. And that was a fair bit of explaining, but there's still more to come. So I'm going to build this up a little bit further, and we're going to dive into some more concepts revolving around this smelter array. Well, hello there. Hi. I just found a random iron golem here on the roof of the Nether. What are you doing, buddy? You're lost. We have a couple of errands to run, and last episode we made a deal with Cub, and I haven't forgotten about it. We need another 4 stacks, and you know, I've now got that. And I've been restocking all of this, and we are actually getting very close to this entire project being filled up with bottles. And one day, this chest up here will be filled to the brim. So, Cub isn't around at this time of day because of time zones and Cub being an American, so I'm just going to leave this in here and shoot him a message and let him know the rest of his honey blocks are here. Next order of business, we're going to do a little bit of spending, and this first purchase might just require redstone blocks, which I have a lot of, as you can see, from our witch farm. And there is now a new shop over here. I believe it is this redstone torch hidden behind the herald. And I do wonder, what is the way in? Aha, here is the entrance. It's called the Ugly Torch, and it would appear that Tango and Impulse are in need of redstone, so they've offered up some of their services. Instead of diamonds, you can now get them for redstone. And I thought I would stack up on Wither Roses. You know, last season of Hermitcraft, we built a Wither Rose farm, and I feel like I've done that project so recently that I'm happy to just buy these. So I don't know when I'm going to use some Wither Roses, but I decided to buy an entire chest's worth, and I brought out all the sea lanterns as well, as this lighting block is another one I don't really plan on farming myself this season. And, you know, I like to help out the hermits, and obviously they're in need of redstone, so there's all the redstone blocks that I've spent, and we've still got this crazy amount left, which is good. The witch farm has come in very useful here. Now, I've also used some of that redstone to craft up some droppers, and what's funny is I keep moving like all of my stone and cobblestone over to the shop here, and then I need it for something, and I have to make a trip over here and take some of the stuff back. Anyway, I thought we'd do a little check and see if we've made any more sales. Looks like sales have been slow in the concrete factory today, but I made 12 diamonds from my personal shops, which is pretty good. If you cast your mind back to the last episode, not only did we learn about all the dogs in the commercial district, we also gave a ton of black wool to Vintage Beef, who has put it to tremendous use, let's say, and he gave me a bunch of diamonds, which I'm just going to reinvest in this new venture of his. That is Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album cover. I love this record. It is one of my all-time favourites, and we can now have this, like, in our world. I could put this in my base. This is so cool. So, do you know what? You can just have all 12, Beef. I watched his episode. I saw how much effort he put into making this. It's an absolute grind to do an entire map like that. And I am so stoked to have that in my base. That is awesome. Well, this isn't much of a home, but this is where it's going to go in our temporary storage area for now. I am starting to think that maybe our next priority after the sheep farm and the furnace array and the bamboo farm, we need to sort out our storage, our home tower, you know, the place where things like this can permanently reside. And now we're going to jump back into the furnace project, but as you can see on the screen, there's a live stream weekend on the 23rd and 24th. You know the deal, head over to livestream.hermitcraft.com for all the links to the different hermits streaming on that weekend. I was working on the furnace array, but Corrales has summoned me over to his area. I'm not sure where Corrales is, but this place is amazing. Look, he's got Spidey hanging out over here. Oh, and there's some graffiti underneath here. That is just too good. Oh my goodness me, look at this. They're doing it. They got their cans of spray paint. Oh, wow. Oh, there he is. Aha, the tag. Okay. Look at this. We're getting real close to 50. 50 is the amount of points we need. And me and Corrales have a plan. We're both going to get to like 49. And then we're going to gear up and challenge other people to come after us. There's basically going to be a showdown in the near future. Also, I'm in need of wood right now, and this ugly mess here needs to get chopped down. And all of this cactus as well, really. You can see this from up there over at the furnace array, and I kept looking over and just thinking, this is so janky, I need to tidy this desert up. There we go, it's not so ugly anymore. And remember Shady E's free glass? Well, this actually came in useful. I've used it up the top here, and this is how we're going to get the items into the hoppers, because we're going to have tons of bamboo coming over here. We need to create a system where they're aligned both in the water stream and above the hoppers, which means large quantities of the bamboo can be moved into the hoppers. Now let's just imagine for a moment that it fills up all the way. That means that this hopper here would have items in it, which is why there is a comparator over here, so then we can create a redstone signal that goes all the way back to the farms and stops them from sending more items. And down here you can see that we've built up an absolute enormous battery full of chests. And from this angle here you can see the storage is a little lopsided up the top, but that's fine because that stuff will be completely out of view. So from somewhere around this space we're going to have a water stream come up from down below and get the items in here. And over at this end we've got a drop down for the excess items, which I could destroy up the top with lava, but I think I'm going to add an additional collection system. Although that might not really work with the comparator over there. Anyway, the interface for this project will probably be a platform somewhere around here. The player can easily reach up to this chest to put in items they want to smelt, and then pick up all the smelted ones down the bottom here. Well, I'm just setting up a beacon, and this guy turns up. He's got Mumbo's head, and look at these textures. These are so much nicer. I really want that redstone lamp. I was about to get going with some digging, and I could hear the machine going over the top here. Something has activated it. I think it's the vines growing over here. Oh man, it must have updated the machine and sent it on its way. Wow, based on the amount of bamboo that's in these chests, this thing's actually been running without me realizing it while I'm in the area. That is just hysterical. So the next step was, of course, to dig a tunnel leading over to our furnace array, and I had kind of lined this up so it would pretty much be a straight tunnel going in a single direction. And after digging that out, I then came down here, put in some stairs so you can kind of walk up and look over. But yeah, it's a simple case of water streams. There's ice underneath the pressure plates so that the items can skip over. And yeah, you know, it's not a work of art, but it gets the items all the way over there. And as you might suspect, at the end of the water stream here, we have an elevator using soul sand and water sources all the way up to the furnace array. So what are you looking at right now? It's me and my camera account. My camera account is next to the flying machine. And down here, I'm going to press a button as I've hooked up some redstone to activate that flying machine in a really interesting way. It's going to move an oak log, which will update the leave block above the observer, and then it sends it on its way. So now the flying machine is doing its thing. Let's take a closer look at this. So when this oak log here gets pushed upwards, it actually changed the value of this leaf block over here, and that's the way that we send a signal to the flying machine. The next one is a little different. Because there is a tree right there, we can't update the value of the leaves because it's already touching a tree. So watch what happens. We just got a hidden piston there to push that block out and update the flying machine. Oh, so cool. I gotta say, it's really fun to do redstone when it's not all about being neat and super efficient and you're just trying to like squeeze in something that works and hide it with leaves. It's been a lot of fun to install these, but obviously at some point we're going to hook up these button presses to something automated. So that water stream that we dug underground comes up all the way up here to the furnace as you would expect, and it's been very simple to hook it up. The water stream pushes the items into the ender chests, and then they flow across the ice, getting picked up by the hoppers on the side. Now, since I last recorded, I've kind of been up to a lot on this server and not had a chance to record in a while, which is why this over here is pretty much complete. This is the landing bay that we're going to integrate into the tower design, and because the shape of it is a little unusual and different from the other ones, it's got some different features in here, but it's all come together really well. I got clay up the top to kind of represent an unsmelted item, and then the bricks down here to represent the stuff you can pick up. And we're going to test this in a little bit. I need to shuffle the bamboo along. It has slowly been stocking up as I've been AFKing in the area, and our first batteries down the end here are actually full to the top with bamboo. But before I show you some of the other things I've been doing in here and we give this thing a test, I got to meet up with Scar, who is getting in the mayoral race, and so we conducted a little interview together.
Oh, Azuma, I see you in there, busy as a bee at the presses.
Oh, hello. Hi, Scar. Sorry, I was just filing away my reports from previous interviews, and yeah, I was busy, and I am a bee, as you can see.
You are a bee. A very dapper bee, by the way.
Oh, dapper. I like that word, yes. Do you like my tie?
I like it. Green team, best team. Hashtag green team, best team.
That's right. Rocking the green robe there, I see. Well, thank you for making your way over here, sir. As you know, we are trying to get the word out for each of those contesting for the position of mayor, or for dog catcher, as you might have heard.
I am, and I'm very glad to get my campaign out there. It has had a slow start, so getting a little bit of a word out in the esteemed Herald will be very helpful.
Well, that's what we plan to do here for each of those running. And just to confirm, you are running for mayor, right?
Yes.
Not dog catcher. Okay, you want to sit on the diamond throne, essentially.
Oh yeah, have you by chance taken a taste of those diamonds? They're very, very tasty.
I heard about this. You like to lick diamonds.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a weird thing to me, but apparently some people do think it's weird. But it's tasty. It's delightful. Gives you energy.
I personally just enjoy licking honey blocks, you know.
Oh, well, each to their own, I suppose.
Well then, my friend, let's do this. Let's conduct an interview for the Herald.
Can we do it on the diamond throne?
Oh, absolutely. That is a great idea. Let's go. What was the reason you decided to jump into this mayoral race?
I was told to. B-Dubs came to me, Azuma. He came to me and said I should run to bring organization and beauty to the shopping district. We look out on this shopping district, Azuma, and it's chaos. It's chaos. It's hampering the economic vitality of the server.
What will you do if you become mayor?
What will I do if I become mayor? Well, it kind of goes back to our last question, Azuma, is that why am I running? When I look out over the other candidates, I don't see a platform that brings hope and optimism to the server. Joe doesn't seem to be knowing what office he's running for. Mumbo out there, just talking about spoons. Now, false. I'm a little bit worried about her. She's formidable, that one. But I will bring hope and I will bring beauty to the shopping district. And we'll have trees, pathways, organization, and best of all, more diamonds to lick.
Do you have any plans for the commercial district?
You know, I feel it ties back into our previous questions, and it's to bring economic vitality back to the shopping district. I feel like we don't have a proper grasp on the economic potential of this shopping district. We stand on the shoulders of our 4 hermits, and I don't think we are serving them well in this area with pure chaos, not having a proper line of production around here, no means of
How would you convince other hermits to vote for you?
You know what, Azuma? Zuma, that is. I would tell them to look in their hearts, to look deep, and to see that they are in desperate need of a cat. They're in desperate need of trees, pathways, and most of all, the taste of diamonds.
What is the true purpose of Operation Aquafunder?
Well, Zuma, that is information that shall be kept off the record. And I'll be off now because I need to build a campaign headquarters because everyone else does, and I don't have one.
Well, Scar, I do thank you for your time. While you were waffling on there, I don't know if you noticed, but I was getting ravaged by phantoms. You know?
No, I did not notice that.
I gathered that. Scar.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You were talking about having a headquarters? This seems to be the thing.
See that pillar out there?
Yeah, I see it. Is that where it's going to be?
It's on a sunken ship, like my campaign. But it'll soon rise out of the ocean and be a campaign headquarters. All right, Azuma. Be Zuma. I will see you later. I will bid you a farewell. Oh, shoot. Okay. Goodbye.
So I've written up my report, which I believe Cubfan is now handling for the paper, the Scarred report, as it says right there. And my time with Scar has taken away from us finishing the furnace project today, which is actually pretty much all done. There's like a little flaw with it, but we're going to be looking at that in the next episode of Hermitcraft and finally finishing that project up. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you soon with another one. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.